Hey, my friends, jumping into some stuff from Oranji's channel. We're going to check out Akane, incredible drummer. So I thought it would be super cool to check it out. As usual, we will do some parts. All right, let's jump in.
Breaking new game.
What the hell is this? Ooh, that was way too loud. Sorry about that. All right, who is the next one? Let's see here. Oh, but she was the one. Wait, she's also a DJ? Really? Okay then, let's talk about Akane. Akane was born on December 14th in Hyogo, a prefecture very close to Osaka. She lived with her mother, her stepfather, and for a short period of time, with her stepbrother, who is 11 years older. During her youngest years, Akane was very unsociable and the one to do whatever she wanted, like leaving kindergarten to go home or not participating in games and activities with the other kids. She was, as she likes to say while laughing, a real problem child. Note that in Japan, children go to school and come back home on their own very early, sometimes at 3 or 4.
Wow.
Over the years, she became more and more friendly and discovered that talking to other people wasn't that bad after all. During her school years, she loved home economics and art, but hated studying. She was also bad at physical activities. Who would have thought? Being a huge fan of manga, Akane was easily influenced by The Prince of Tennis or Slam Dunk to try different sports, but soon realized that her motivation was gone pretty quickly. She's the kind of person who wants to try everything that could interest her, but nothing lasted very long, except one thing. And this is something that we've seen in Saiki and Konami's childhood. Akane has loved music since she was very little. For her, it started with piano in kindergarten and lasted a few years before she stopped because the joy wasn't there anymore. Although she can still play some songs on the piano, even
I was going to say, I bet you she can still play.
today. She continued for 5 years with trombone, but it wasn't something she saw herself pursuing. At the end of her trombonist career, she realized that a lot of her friends joined bands, so she went to a lot of live performances and music festivals with them. That's how the idea of being in a band started to grow in Akane's head. So she joined the K-On! Club to form a band. To get an idea of what it was like, you can watch the anime K-On! Akane started with the guitar, but soon realized that her hands were too small to play, and it was impossible for her to continue. The bass was off the table too, as you can imagine, and she's no singer, at least according to her, so what's left? Yes, drums. And once Akane tried a drum kit, she felt that that was it. While learning drums, she started to listen to rock bands like El Garden and Bump of Chicken to end up making covers of their songs. She
Bump of
also
Chicken.
learned about the band Maximum the Hormone and their female drummer, Now. Akane was stunned to discover that the drummer of this hard rockin' band was not a man. This was the kind of drummer she wanted to become, so she kept.
Now back that up.
This was
They'll have Lucille for Bats there from The Walking Dead. You got to give her credit, guys. At least she tried a lot of different things. I mean, I would never ever have had any interest in like a brass instrument, but she tried trombone. Nope, not for me. Piano, nope, not for me. I think she probably could have played. She could have gotten a nice thin neck guitar, but it's not her thing. Thankfully, because now we have one of the coolest drummers out there in Band-Maid. What a great story, though, huh? Super cool.
Was the kind of drummer she wanted to become, so she kept this picture of a strong female drummer in her mind as a role model. It was, and still is, important to Akane to have an impact on anyone who thinks that a female drummer can only play soft and not hard. With
Way
this
untrue.
image in mind, she practiced every week at her school, the only place that had a drum kit available, as she didn't own one. The other problem was that she was alone in her club, so she could only practice by herself. By the end of her second year, she wanted to do a graduation live performance, so she gathered some of her friends from her old symphonic band days and performed a copy of the group Pez, a Japanese instrumental band consisting of a trumpet, a saxophone, a double bass, a keyboard vocalist, and of course, drums. You might be surprised to learn that Akane wanted to work as a hairdresser after graduation. But as she started drums and was 100% committed to improve her playing skills, she completely changed her mind and instead wanted to enroll in a music school. Against the will of her teacher, but with the support of her parents, Akane went to the Tokyo School of Music for 2
Nice.
years to follow her passion. She was surrounded by talented musicians who wanted to become professional. Even though she was just a beginner in her class, she worked very hard and played every day to catch up with the other students. It was during those years that she joined a band who did a combined live show with another band featuring the one and only Kanami. She immediately acknowledged how good Kanami was with the guitar and wanted to know more about her. It turned out that they lived very close from each other, so they quickly became friends. Kanami used to ask Akane to play drums on her demos before sending them to record companies. Unfortunately, Akane's band didn't stay together very long, and she was back to square one. But Akane was resourceful, so she started a part-time job as a waitress in a music restaurant in Yokohama. She could watch live performances and sometimes have a sit behind the kit to play when the restaurant closed for the day. She told the manager that she plays drums, so he asked if she could play right now. And she did. Akane played Highway Star from Deep Purple, and the manager agreed to let her play. He even
Nice.
offered to train her. From that moment, Akane trained every day to improve her skills and become a better drummer. We are now in...
All right, guys, we'll stop there and pick it up. You guys know I don't do long videos because nobody ever watches anything long that I do. So just a waste of time to do it. I have so many requests. I like to do them this way anyway because I can move on to other requests and just pick it up tomorrow. All right, Akane, man. I mean, you know, one thing I've noticed, you know, like even with Miku, I mean, they work so hard to learn their instrument to get to where they're at now. It just seems to be like the way it is in Japan with artists. I mean, like even with One OK Rock, I mean, you know, nobody believed in them. Yet they fought and fought and fought and played and played and played, and now they're super successful. Band-Maid, the same. They really had to work really, really hard. And you gotta respect that, guys. You gotta respect it totally. I love Band-Maid. I love everything about them, everything they stand for. And when you learn about their history, you respect them even more because you know, okay, wow, you know, she was waiting tables, you know, to make a living while she's trying to learn. I mean, super, super cool. All right, my friends, we'll see you in the next one. I hope you've had a great weekend. Have a great week coming up, and we'll see you tomorrow with another installment of this documentary. Have a good one. Hey, my friends, jumping back in with Band-Maid and the Orenji documentary for Akane. Super cool so far. We learned she's a DJ. We learned she tried to play other instruments, see if she liked them. Super cool. So let's continue, see what else we can learn about Akane. She's awesome. She really is just such an incredible drummer.
2013, and Band-Maid is actively looking for three female musicians to join a rock band while wearing maid outfits. I say three because at this time, they weren't searching for a lead vocalist yet. Our little pigeon already recruited Konami, so the band was looking for a drummer and a bassist. As you can imagine, Konami talked to Akane about this opportunity. She trusted her with her demos, so why shouldn't she? At first, Konami mentioned the label and Akane was excited, until Konami revealed that they are recruiting for an all-girls band. In case you wonder, she hadn't even mentioned the part where they would all have to be dressed in maid outfits. Akane had too many bad experiences from all-girl bands, so she wasn't really thrilled about this idea. But the restaurant she was working at was about to close for good, so she took some time to think about it and finally decided to join Konami. What about the maid outfit, you would ask? Well, she was reluctant at first, but how do you know that it's bad without even trying? After all, if Konami is already there, it'll be okay, right? So she was willing to give it a try anyway. Konami sent her some demos, and Akane found the music really cool right away. And the image of an all-girls band dressed like maids playing this kind of music was really interesting for her. She felt that her reluctance against all-girl bands and maid outfits was fading away as her motivation kept growing. Just a few months later, a 5-members acoustic band was created under the name Mochi to Cheese. What's the link with Akane, you could ask? Well, Akane and Konami were both part of this side band with 3 members from the band Predia, an idol group formed in 2010 under the same agency as Band-Maid, Platinum Passport.
Wow.
They started to perform in the streets with acoustic covers and even performed live a few times over the 2 years of activity.
Let me know, guys. Give me some links for that band. I'd like to see that. That'd be super cool.
Band also covered Forward, a song from Band-Maid. A single was released in September 2015, but only 2 months later, they sent their last tweet and posted their last entry in their blog. After that, we did not hear from Mochi to Cheese again. Their YouTube channel is still available, so you can at least watch a fraction of their performances.
この出会いに優しいキスをこれが運命なら
All right, I gotta say, I'm glad that they joined Band-Maid and stayed with Band-Maid. Not really my cup of tea. Maybe the studio stuff's better, but I can't imagine a world without Band-Maid, so I just can't, guys. Akane on that, man, she's just so good on that. Nice work on the cajon.
モチチーズでした。バイバイ。
Let's get back to Band-Maid. With all those years of practice, Akane had a solid base of drumming to bring to the band, but she didn't have a lot of practice with the twin pedals on high-paced songs. She did buy one when she was in high school, but she gave up pretty quickly, only to come back on it later and work as much as she could to try and master it.
Master, she
With
did.
Band-Maid, Akane had to use twin pedals for the first time with Thrill. A painful first
I love
experience
this
for
song.
her. But the feedback was incredible, so the band members wanted to add more twin pedals in the next songs over the years. This is something that Akane wanted to do as well. But remember that from 2016, the songs are written by Konami. And Konami loves fast-paced rhythm.
速いのは一番速い BPM。
I think it's 225.
おう
惜しい
ちには225ないね。
200
じゃあ次225を目指します。
Usually, Konami's songs are based at about 170 beats per minute, but Akane struggled to play the twin pedals over 130 beats per minute because of her lack of solid practice on twin pedaling.
Wow.
But she wouldn't be defeated that easily. Band-Maid is a hard rock band. They needed to be hard on their music, and Akane had to be able to play faster. So what do you think she did?
She practiced.
She thought about how she moves her legs and found ways to improve her movements to be able to play faster. And what's the best way to do it? Practice, practice, practice. Muscle memory.
Yep.
Akane tried to move her legs every time and everywhere she could as if she was playing the twin pedals, so her legs remembered those movements. She was also pushed by Konami, who kept including a lot of twin pedals in her songs.
It's really funny. There's a Indonesian drummer, Oki Fadlan. He is like incredibly fast. Check him out. When he plays that double bass, he goes, I don't even know how many beats per minute, well over 200. And when his feet, instead of just hitting the pedals this way, he does something where he moves his feet, and he says it gives him gets him a lot faster. That's the fastest drummer I've ever seen. I mean, that guy, when he plays his drumstick, it looks like, when you do the thing with a pencil, it makes it look like rubber. It's just unbelievable. Or you'll see that if you really can catch some of the drummers in baby metal, sometimes you'll see that really fast, unbelievable. Fast snare. It's just incredible. Oki Fadlan. That dude. And he plays a lot of kind of like deathcore, all that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable.
Challenge that Akane couldn't refuse to face, as she is not the type to admit that she can't keep up with a song. After a lot of work and thinking about her playstyle, Akane is now able to use twin pedals anytime, in any song. Did you know that Band-Maid performed with a man once? No. Do you want to know more about this story? Of course you do. It was in 2015.
All right, we're going to stop here. Try to keep them short, guys. What a man. That's just unbelievable, all the work she had to put into that. I agree, in the style of music that they play, you really got to have that double bass. And thankfully, Akane is just that kind of person who doesn't take, who doesn't think I can't do it. She just works harder. Unbelievable. I love Band-Maid, guys. Everything about them is super cool. And, you think and you go, wow, Miku learned to play guitar. And Akane really had to do the drums. It's just really incredible, guys. It really, really is. I mean, I just think, between Miku and Akane, having to really learn, their instruments. Akane could play, but getting that double bass drum going, it just makes them even cooler. One of the hardest working bands out there. All right, guys, I will pick this up later. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Hey, my friends, jumping back in with Band-Maid and the documentary from Orangi. Super cool. We'll learn a lot about Akane. So, let's continue.
Did you know that Band-Maid performed with a man once?
I did not know that.
Do you want to know more about this story?
Well, yeah.
Of course you do. It was in 2015, on December 4th to be exact, at the Shinjuku club Science, that Akane was replaced by a male drummer for a performance. Why, you might ask? Akane mentioned in an interview around that time that she just had an injury and she needed time to rest and heal. Don't worry, It wasn't a life or death situation, as Akane came to this performance disguised as a staff member to support her bandmates. She tweeted 2 months later with a photo of her holding a lot of drumsticks with messages written from fans from all over the world. Band-Maid has the best community of fans. Am I right? Now, I'm sure that many of you maniacs know that Akane likes to eat. A lot. She can eat 120 bowls of soba when on average, a man eats 70 bowls and a woman 50.
Wow.
Or even 30 plates at a kaiten sushi, a restaurant where plates of sushi are placed on a conveyor belt that winds through the restaurant and moves past every table, counter, and seat.
Well, I'm going to back that up. Look at that. I've never seen anything like that. Just on a conveyor belt. If it looks good, grab it. Wow. That, my friends, is a super cool idea. However, probably ought to cover it. Somebody coughs all over it. It'd be pretty gross. But I'm telling you guys, Japan is just so unique. So many things over there are incredible. I have never heard of anything like this. It's just basically on a conveyor belt. Goes around. If you like it, pick it up. Nice.
Conveyor belt that winds through the restaurant and moves past every table, counter, and seat.
Wow.
And believe me when I tell you that 30 is a lot. She loves eating food so much that you can see her eating in a lot of the music videos over the years. I'll bet she really enjoyed filming those. Akane was invited for a few episodes of Band-Maid Nippon, and they played a game where Miku and Saiki had to guess her favorite food outside of Japan.
ご飯
ご飯
何米ってこと？
ご飯
米？
ピザ
どういうこと？
主食っていうの
メインのもの。
メインの
こってりじゃないでしょ。
Yeah, I saw
Cotteria
this
じゃないね。
episode.
パエリアパエリアです
ね、勘で言ったら当たったし。
あ、どうなの
At the creation of Band-Maid, Akane was designated as the leader as she appeared to be the most responsible. But now, every member has a different role equally important, and having a leader was just not relevant anymore. Akane is also famously known for goofing around every chance she gets.
Wow.
Even
Good
during
singer.
live performances. And she's not the only one, as the other band members try to make her laugh by pulling faces. Sometimes it gives us some very special moments to watch. And sometimes it just works too well. Band-Maid is really putting on a show when it comes to live performances, because these 5 hard rockin' maids are really enjoying themselves, don't you think? All right, it's time to talk about Akane's drum style. But let's keep it simple, shall we? And as I didn't become a musician since our last video on Konami, I will let today's special guests talk to you about this very interesting subject. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear what they have to say about Akane. Let's go.
Band-Maid is a group of individuals that are just such heavy hitters on their instruments. When they come together, the overall sound of the ensemble is amazing. The rhythms, the harmonies, the quality of the vocals, the songwriting, the skill sets of how everything is woven together is a very amazing listening experience. I've only seen the videos, but from moment one, it had me hooked. Now, Akane's drumming is, when you see someone that is so fluid and relaxed and they're playing at such a high velocity and the demand is so great, The level of respect is top. It is top for me. So she has a way of laying back in the groove and just flowing so well, but a lot of the times these tempos are burning, like they're going fast, but she has this thing where it's like effortless mastery. She lays back, there's all these augmentations and interactions within the orchestration of the song with everybody else. Like there's always these complicated things happening, but when you watch her play, the legato, like it's smooth. It's like you don't really notice how difficult everything is. And for me, that's the...
I love how drummers try to make everything complicated. It's really not that complicated. It's playing drums, guys. It's not, I mean, of course it's hard, but a drummer here just trying to make it sound like it's just extremely complicated. It's really not for her. I get what he's saying. However, with Akane's level of talent, it's just like, nah, she's good, man. It's not complicated for her at all. She's just awesome. You know what I mean? And I love how they're so playful together, making faces. It's Band-Maid, guys. You gotta love them.
Major selling point, because anytime something seems like smooth and easy, it's not. It's because the person is so good. They've put in so many thousands of hours on their instrument, and their ability to have all that ensemble listening go on allows them to be that effortless mastery that I just brought up. I will never get tired of watching Akane play. I mean, to be just completely honest, it's inspirational, and it just makes me want to be a better musician.
All right, guys, we'll stop here and come back and finish it right up. Wow. I mean, I get what he's saying, but, you know, it's also like he just said, man, when you put in that many hours into an instrument, it really does become effortless. I just don't think music needs to be complicated, I guess you could say. Look at bands, you know. I mean, look at, you know, back in the day, Louie Louie, you know, just a few chords. Doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to have, you know, 900 guitar parts and 63, you know, other million things going on, like, say, Metallica, the Black Album. Great album, guys. Classic album. I love the album. But there's like 4 million things going on that thing because it was just so overproduced to get that sound. I mean, if you guys have seen like a year and a half in the life of Metallica, there you go. It explains everything. I mean, they had like rifles in there. They're making sounds just for one little tiny second. It doesn't need to be complicated. Anyway, guys, I'll be right back with the next part of this. I always make them short. This is already at 9 minutes. If I go the rest of the way, it's going to be a 25-minute video, and nobody's going to watch it. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next part. Have a great day. Hey, my friends, jumping back into the last part of the documentary with Akane. Again, guys, I don't do them long. Nobody watches them. So it's just easier to break them up. I don't want to do, well, this video is 24 minutes. Time I get done, you're talking over a half an hour. So I don't do them that way. I do them short. So we're going to finish this up here right now. And then I'm going to see what I can react to just for a regular song. So, all right, let's jump back in.
Akane is a very impressive musician. For many reasons, one of them is her constant evolving. It's almost a rule among musicians to get to a certain level and then stop because that's good enough. But there's no such thing as good enough for Akane. She's constantly getting better, not only in her skills as a player, but also as a writer. There's not a single dull moment in her writing. There's always something different and interesting and creative happening. Her creativity has no limits. She almost never repeats herself. That thing with the second verse is completely different from the first, but you can still tell it.
I only agree with that one part to a certain extent. You know, musicians get to a certain part and then they go, oh, that's good enough. I just think the people who actually make it are the ones who put in the extra time. You know what I mean? They go above and beyond. Like Akane did whatever she had to do to make it happen. Thousands of hours, guys, to learn your craft. Um, I just think, the vast majority of musicians out there are just, home musicians or, maybe playing a little bit of a band. Um, because the music industry is so difficult to do anything in, you can't, you really got to have something different. Or the right person has to see you. It's like winning the lottery or something. Um, I put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours playing guitar. Um, no, it's not good enough for me. I still play and I want to continue. Um, but, I'll never be Eddie Van Halen as much as I wish I could play all his stuff note for note. Um, but for me, it's the joy of it, It's fun to play a cover tune, you know what I mean? Play along with bands that I love. I agree, Akane she's just really special. Um, Everything she went through, trying all the different instruments, finally coming into drums and having to learn the double bass drum, which totally added a different dynamic to Band-Maid. Super cool.
It's the same thing. It represents the same thing. That's very impressive writing. Akane is a drummer's drummer, but she's also everybody's drummer. What I mean by that is, to someone who's not familiar with the drums, she sounds very impressive, she is, but it's not impenetrable, it's not tedious or self-serving. She's always serving the music. You can always groove to it. But when you do know what she's doing, your mind goes blank for a second, because she can write these incredibly intricate parts that are also beautiful. Recent example of that is in Influencer, the transition that goes from first chorus to the second verse, and that part afterwards with the cross sticks and everything. I think they call it the A melody. There's so much happening there. It's so fast. It's so different. And not different from the first verse, different from everything I ever heard from her. There's more music in those, 15 seconds than in 99.99% of all music ever recorded. And you can still dance to it. Then you see her playing live. Doesn't even look like she's doing anything that hard. She doesn't call attention to herself. She just smiles and plays Impossible. She hits very, very, very hard with so little effort. She's so fast. She's so precise. But she's also expressive. There's feeling in her playing. And that's what music is, or should be. Is taking your instrument and amplifying your emotions to touch people's hearts. Akane does that. She hits.
I totally agree. That's what it should be. However, for most musicians, it's not. There are only certain people that you can actually kind of feel that with. Certain artists. And Akane's definitely one of them. But I also think the rest of the band members are like that. It's just, you can express your emotions with an instrument or your voice. It's super cool. I think this guy has definitely got a thing about zombies. He's got World War Z, other zombie books on the shelf. Pretty cool. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it doesn't look hard what she's doing. But, the practice she put in is what makes it that way. If you sit down and you are a drummer and start to play this stuff, it can take some time to learn it, but you can learn it. It's not impossible. It's not impossible to learn anything that anybody plays. It's just how bad do you want it? How much time are you willing to put in to learn that stuff? Same for me, guys. Same thing. I could probably learn some Eddie Van Halen, not note for note or perfect. I just got to put the time in to learn it, which I have not had time to do because I'm always on here reacting for you guys. But yeah, I get this guy. Definitely makes sense.
It's very hard with incredible speed and precision, but she's also putting herself, her feeling into her music. She's joy, she's happiness, fun to be around. She jokes around, she says random things. And her playing is also like that. Her drumming, her music is joyous, is happy, is pleasurable and surprising, and connects the songs. And she's constantly getting better at it. And that's very impressive.
Where do I even begin with Akane? Oh, I've tried covering her drums so many times, never really got them right, because they're so complex. She's definitely the hardest drummer I've ever tried to cover. The skills required alone are insane, but it's not only the skill, it also requires an insane amount of memory skills because she's constantly changing up her drum patterns, keeping things fresh. It never gets stagnant, but it's so hard to remember all the different little changes she makes. And somehow she's still able to smile through all of it while she's playing. She plays with so much power, so much energy, and perfectly complements all the other instruments around her. You can tell from what she's playing that she listens to her fellow bandmates and does what she can to accentuate their parts instead of just playing underneath them or playing over them. She gives the song exactly what it needs. Such a well-rounded drummer. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Once again, I've been telling you the story of someone who has been in love with music since forever and tried many instruments until she found the one that was perfect for her: drums. Even though she was alone in her club during high school, without a drum kit to practice on at home, Akane did her best to learn the basics by herself and was able to join a music school and pursue her goal of becoming a professional musician. From a child who wanted to try everything but couldn't find the motivation to keep at it, to a truly passionate musician, Akane kept doing her best to live for and from music. Working at a music restaurant to end up playing drums there, joining Band-Maid with Konami and within this already incredible band, learning and evolving towards this image of a strong hard rock female drummer she always wanted to be associated with. Akane wanted to prove that gender has nothing to do with her drumming and how hard Band-Maid's music is, and we can all agree that she does this every time she hits her drums. No matter how difficult it was, no matter how many obstacles she faced, Akane destroyed everything in her way so she could achieve what makes her special as a person and a drummer.
Stay with me, you carry like that moment. I never change, that love is beautiful.
Yep. Wow. Anyway, guys, yeah, I mean, she is incredible, and she does everything she does. I mean, she's done it a million times, and that's what it takes. If you want to play an instrument, that's what it takes. Practice. You know, I've had so many people say they want to learn guitar, or here, you know, Q, teach me guitar. Yeah, well, I can teach you some stuff. Either they never do get a guitar, or if they do, you know, you show them some stuff and they just never bother. You say, okay, practice this. A couple days later, you want to practice? No. So most people quit. If you really want to play, guys, you can do it, whatever the instrument is. So anyway, from Orangi, another great documentary. Incredible Akane. Top-notch drummer, guys. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.